Hi, welcome to Seven's Pinballorama. Today we're going to talk about removing Mylar from pinball playfields. This particular machine is an old Williams Black Knight pinball machine. It's in pretty rough shape. I thought instead of trying to bring it back to an original Black Knight condition, I'm going to retheme it to Monty Python's Holy Grail. So there'll be the Black Knight with the arm off and the only a flesh wound, and there'll be the Knights who say knee, and the little butt trumpet guys will be in there somewhere, and I'm just going to play around and have some fun. But that gives us a perfect machine to play around with different methods of getting the Mylar off of the playfield. So you've got two different steps that you've got to do when you do this. First, you got to get the Mylar off. After that, you have to get the adhesive that you've left behind off, and the whole kind of the point that you're trying to achieve is doing this without removing all of the paint. If you didn't care about the paint, you just grab the Mylar, give it a yank, and you're done. We don't want to do that. So I've tried a couple of different methods of doing this in the past, and I've read some other ways to do it. So we're going to try kind of a mixture of all of them and see what gives us the best results. Maybe mixing some techniques together might help. This is kind of an experiment for me. I thought I would video it so you could watch me fail miserably, or not. We'll find out. So on this machine already, I've removed some of the Mylar using freeze spray, and it did take out a little bit of paint here and there. So I really wanted to try using a heat gun and see if that works a little bit better. I haven't done this before, so I might catch the whole thing on fire, and then this will turn into not an educational video, but a fail video. So why don't we get started? And I'll sort of, I have a couple of different cameras set up, so you can watch. I can zoom in on particular areas, which I thought was better than holding a camera and trying to scrub or something, holding something in my tooth. So let's get to it. All right, so this is a section where I've already removed some of the Mylar, and as you can see right here, it's to remove some of the paint right in this section. One of the methods they don't recommend is just peeling the Mylar up. So let's try that and see what it does without using heat or freeze, because who cares? So I've got a little section here. Let's see if I can get at it. So you can see it's just peeling. Yeah, this is something you really don't want to do. It's just taking the paint right off of there. Look at all that. So I think that's probably demonstration enough. But look at this. It really, in this particular section, freezing it and just removing it, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So let's get out the heat gun, give that a shot, and see how that works. So I've never done this. I don't know how long to heat it up or what I need to do. So we'll find out. I'm going to set this on low first and just kind of go slow. Dry my hair. So this actually seems to be working fairly well. It's a little pliable. It's just I'm not applying very much pressure at all to get this stuff off. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Looks like we have some. It came off okay right in this section, but it looks like all of the red is kind of coming up, and it's, wow, that's really coming up. It's entirely possible that it's coming up just because it was in pretty miserable shape when they put the Mylar down. It's hard to tell because this is, or maybe the heat gun is melting it. I don't, melting the paint and it's losing its grip, kind of like the freeze spray. So I think at this point I'm going to stop doing this because I was having much better luck using the freeze spray. This is really making quite a mess. Now, some of this could be because of the type of Mylar that was put down. I have some factory Mylar on here, so when we get to unburying that, we can try the heat gun on that, see if that makes a difference. But let's compare this same piece of Mylar with the same condition paint underneath it with freeze spray and see if we get better results. So this is a can of just regular air spray, canned air for, you know, dusting computers or what have you. Just sort of the regular stuff. How you use this is you basically flip it over, and when you spray it out, it blasts out the propellant, or I don't even know what it is, but it's cold, and that's what we want. So usually when I do this, I just sort of spray around the area, and it freezes the adhesive so that you can delaminate it from the Mylar sheet. So let's see if we get better luck with this over the heat, because I'm not really impressed with the heat overall. And I sort of spray it all over. I spray it under and on top. I'm just going to cut this into a strip. I think that's easier. There we go. So, okay, freeze on this particular playfield. I'm going to vote for the freeze because, as you can tell, it just sort of lifted right up, and there was really no problems. It was really quick, and we pulled off some paint here, but it looks like if you look at the playfield, it looks like that paint was coming up anyway. They did some touch up right here, so I think what we pulled up is some of the stuff, well, some of the touch up paint, and some of the paint that was already coming up anyway. So what are you gonna do? If you compare the two, you can definitely tell the difference. I stopped the heat right, let's see, you can see I stopped the heat right here, and it was not coming up very gracefully, but all the freeze that came up. I did lift some paint, but I think on this playfield there was nothing we could have done to avoid that. Some other people have talked about using Goo Gone. You actually put the Goo Gone, you sort of lift up a little section of the Mylar and you put the Goo Gone down, and that helps to sort of dissolve the adhesive, and then you can separate it away that way. We can try that, but I don't really think we're going to get much better results. I think that I don't think that the Goo Gone is going to be able to get underneath the adhesive quick enough that it'll take too long to kind of work its way and absorb in. I think that the freeze is probably the best method, but let's try the Goo Gone. Why not? Goo Gone. So there's a little section right above where I took it off with the freeze spray where I can get underneath the Mylar. So let's see if we can get enough Goo Gone under there to make it lift up and be useful at all. I'll use this little blade to try and get under there. All right, I'm not even going to bother with this. It isn't working any better than just pulling the Mylar off by itself. I'm already lifting paint, and it doesn't really seem to be doing much of anything. The clear really seems to be the free spray really seems to be the most effective method, at least for this playfield. And this Mylar that's on here, and the condition of the paint underneath it. Freeze is the way to go. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop the video, I'm going to remove the rest of the Mylar off the playfield, except for the two original ones that were in front of the slingshots. And then we'll try both heat and freeze on that and see what the differences are. So the Mylar is off, and I'm going to start with freeze on this original Mylar slingshot section. I'm going to start with the freeze because the playfield's already cold. It's like it's got snow on it. So the hardest part about this is going to be getting a corner started because it's round, but also it's well stuck on there. So usually when I've done this in the past, I've just sort of used my fingernail and kind of got a little piece started. I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to get under this, though, so I might use the blade. Hey, that's cold. Yeah, I can't get a fingernail underneath here. There we go. Took a little tiny piece off. So this is just coming up beautifully. Look at that. Perfect. So freeze works beautifully. I think a lot of it depends on the condition of the paint. This red paint over in this area that I took up with the freeze, I think was going to come up no matter what I did. Although the heat definitely did make it worse. Let's see if we have the same reaction over on the other side with the heat. Let's see if it'll come up just as clean. So I'm not going to speed through this. I'm just going to let it come up all by itself. It's a little bit slower going than the other way. But it seems to be acting, it seems to be working. It's hot. Need some Buster Poindexter music. Done. Turn off. So I think where'd the other one go? Both methods work, I think, equally as well for this particular type. I don't really see any paint on either of them. And it didn't seem to take any extra adhesive off using either method. So we still have a bunch of adhesive left on the playfield, so now we got to tackle that. So let's get ready to do that one.